Well, here's a piano that was a lot like the one that my mom had. It went into a state of disrepair, and rather than junk it, we decided I was going to repurpose the wood. So a lot of the wood from this turned out to become jewelry boxes that I handed down to my daughters as heirlooms. So let's take a look and see how I went from this to a jewelry box like this. Inside we've got the nice decals. Nice little place for her jewelry, and then some stuff down below. Let's see how I went from the piano to this. Watch how I put this together. Hi there, welcome to Doc's Projects. I'm Doc. Hi. I have a serious project going on here that I'm a little scared of. This is a top piece of a upright piano. It used to be my mom's. And we had this piano for ages, this piano stayed in the family, but it went into a terrible state of disrepair. It wasn't kept up, and people were setting things on it. Nobody wanted it. I decided to keep it, and I want to repurpose this wood for my children. I want to make a jewelry box out of the wood from this piano. But here's the problem. It's so aged that I'm going to try to figure out if I can save it. I'm going to turn it up to this side, so you can kind of see there's a nice little emblem that was on the inside. So when you open it up, you'd see this nice little emblem for the place that built it. I don't know how it's going to work out, how much of a problem it's going to be. We're just going to have to see. You're going to give up. This is going to be a mess. You're never going to be able to get this to work. Well, maybe, but yeah, go away. I don't need a conscience. So, let me bring the camera up a little closer. See if I can hold it up and change the lighting on it, see if you can see that. If you haven't subscribed yet, I really appreciate it. If you don't feel like subscribing, at least please like. It doesn't hurt you to like, and that helps me out quite a bit to get my channel to grow. If I want to make sure that all of these are perfectly lined up, perfect 45-degree angles, everything's looking good, then what you do before you glue it all up, make sure that you don't have to make an adjustment, is you take a measurement and you cross over from one side to the other. I'm looking down here and I've got right at 13 3/4 inches. Do the same thing here. And I've also got 13 3/4 inch right there. So that means I'm perfectly square. And whenever you're building a box or a cabinet or anything, if you don't make sure that it's perfectly square before you make it solid and glue it all up, any other things you try to put in are not going to square up to it. They're going to have a tilt or an angle or something. So always make sure to cross-check that. Well, here's the next step we're taking. There's been a couple of changes. I asked my wife to come out and give me some ideas of what she thought, and she really likes this, as do I. It's got a lot of these little emblems in here, kind of gold. Very good condition, so I wanted to try to preserve that. This is actually going to be the lid. I'm going to cut this piece out, and that's going to be the lid, so when you open the box up, you'll be seeing this staring at you. Okay, well, here's one of the stages of cleaning off. I've already pretty much cleaned off all the finish from these pieces here. This piece, I think I mentioned to you, my wife reminded me that this would be a real nice, beautiful decal to have on the inside of the box. So when it's closed down and you open up the box, that's what you'll be seeing. This is solid wood now that came from the same piano. One of the pieces here that had a lock in it for when you close the lid down. So I'll be able to use this lumber here, cut it down to little strips, attach it to all four sides of this. That way this will have a framework. This will be the top, and then when you open it, there's your stuff on the inside. Let me get on to making some more adjustments, and then we'll get back to you. And to make the framework around, because remember, this is just a thin veneer, so I need to have something here that I can shave down to the right size. So I've cut these angles very carefully on the miter saw. So now I'm ready to glue this up. the stain on the outside edges because I'm going to do a little sanding and shaving to bring it down to match the box exactly. That way it'll fit just perfectly. Before I do that, I wanted to put a little stain to it. I gotta get a feel for it. I'm just now wiping it off. I want to see how it's going to look. So anyway, I'm going to keep working on this, and I'll bring you in once in a while to kind of see the progress. So I got this one nice and flush using the chisel, which is the hard way to do it. So in case you need to do it that way, that's how it's done. Now let me show you an easier way if you happen to have the luxury of having a little trim router. I've got one here that's going to cut a square bottom, and I want to make sure that I come to have exactly the height that I need. So I measured very carefully right here, eyeballing it, make sure I'm only going to cut the depth that I need. Lock that down and double check it. Make sure it's unplugged, by the way. Safety first. I used the X-Acto knife to carve out that little piece right there. Make sure you got good lighting. And I'm just going to follow along inside that line. And as far as the depth, looks like we're just about right. If you haven't seen these before, these are kind of neat. Notice there's no drill bit there, but as I push on it, it'll come out. And this little bevel right here and there helps to line it up perfectly center with that hole. So you just kind of set it there and push it in. Don't go too far though. Here's where I get a little bit nervous. I want to make sure that I've got these in nice and flush now. When it gets opened up, I want this to be upright where this is what you can see. So here's where I'm going to make sure that as I put it in, I want to make sure that once I've got them secured and tightened and the screws in, and no turning back kind of thing, I want to make sure that when I open and close it, it matches up perfectly with the base. Okay, well I had to take a little bit of a break for various reasons. These are pieces that came off of my mom's piano. So I decided I'm going to put them up here. And space them out just nice and glue them on there nice and secure before I do the finishing. That's for the top. Now, for the bottom, I took some of the solid wood from the piano, drilled holes. Well, first off I made triangles. I made squares and then I cut them in half to make triangles, and that's for the feet.